Life changed forever. She told me to be her. I thought she was joking. That's the part that still haunts me. We were standing inches apart, the room heavy with words that hadn't been spoken yet. Her makeup mirror was lit, throwing her reflection and mine together in the glass. Too close, too similar. She looked calm. I wasn't. Just try, she said softly. Not wear this. Not pretend. Not help me. Just one sentence. Be me. I laughed under my breath, the kind of laugh you use when something feels wrong but you don't want to admit it yet. That's not funny. She didn't smile. Instead, she reached out and adjusted my collar with a familiarity that didn't belong to me. Her fingers lingered. Her eyes searched my face like she was checking alignment. You already know how, she said. You just haven't stopped fighting it. That's when the room changed. Not physically. Emotionally. Like a line had been crossed without permission. I looked at the clothes laid out on the bed, her clothes. Not costumes. Not playful. Carefully chosen, intentional. The kind of outfit that carries identity with it. This is temporary, I said, more to myself than to her. She nodded. Everything starts that way. I should have walked out. Instead, I stepped closer to the mirror. And when she stood behind me, guiding my hands, correcting my posture, whispering what to fix and what to let go, I felt something terrifying settle into place. Not fear. Recognition. The reflection didn't argue. She fit. And when I finally met my own eyes in the mirror, she leaned in and said the words that ended everything I thought I knew about myself. Don't take it off tonight. I opened my mouth to protest. But my voice didn't come out the way it used to. I told myself I was only doing it to humor her. That's how it always starts, harmless excuses dressed up as logic. She sat on the edge of the bed while I stood there, frozen, wearing her clothes like they were a line I had crossed without realizing it. The fabric felt warmer than I expected, softer, like it had already adjusted to me. She watched closely, not with excitement, not with mockery, but with focus. Relax, she said. You're holding yourself wrong. She stepped behind me, hands light on my shoulders, guiding them down. I felt my posture shift automatically. My breathing changed. I hated how natural it felt. This isn't pretending, I muttered. She smiled slightly. No. It's remembering. The mirror in front of us showed two versions of her, and none of me. She reached for my hair, adjusting it with careful patience, tucking loose strands where they belonged. Every small correction made the reflection sharper, more convincing. Too convincing. Look at yourself, she whispered. I did. And the panic I expected never arrived. Instead, there was a strange stillness. Like the noise in my head had finally lowered its volume. This is just for tonight, I said. She didn't answer right away. Then quietly, that's what I told myself too. The words lingered in the room, heavy and unfinished. She handed me a compact. You'll need this. My fingers closed around it instinctively. I didn't ask why. As I applied the makeup under her watchful eye, I realized something unsettling. My hands weren't shaking. I didn't need instructions. I already knew where everything went, how much pressure to use, when to stop. You see, she said. You're already doing it. I swallowed. Doing what? Becoming. Time blurred after that. Conversation drifted in and out, replaced by quiet moments where she simply observed. Every now and then she'd correct me, how I stood, how I crossed my legs, how I reacted to my own reflection. Each correction felt less like guidance and more like permission. When I finally stood up, fully dressed, she circled me slowly. Not critically. Approvingly. You look right, she said. The word hit deeper than it should have. Right. As if there had been a wrong before this. I laughed nervously. You're enjoying this way too much. Her expression softened, not amused, not teasing. I'm relieved, she said. I don't have to be alone in it anymore. That was when the balance shifted. This wasn't a game. This wasn't curiosity. This was something she had lived with, and waited to share. I need to change back before someone sees, I said. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. Who? She asked. Who would know it isn't you? I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. She reached up, adjusted my collar again, then met my eyes in the mirror. Go outside, she said calmly. Just for a minute. My heart skipped. No. Just the hallway, she insisted. Feel it. I shook my head. That's not part of this. She smiled gently. It is now. The door loomed behind us, silent and ordinary. The kind of door you walk through without thinking, until it separates your life into before and after. My hand hovered over the handle. And in that moment, I realized the truth I had been avoiding all night. She wasn't asking me to be her. She was asking me to stop being myself. And the terrifying part? I wasn't sure I wanted to say no. I stepped out of the bedroom, the hallway stretching before me like a thin thread between two worlds. The light flickered just once, the kind of subtle warning that makes you second-guess every choice, but I didn't stop. My heels clicked softly, a rhythm I hadn't known I could carry. Every step felt both alien and natural, like I had been trained without realizing it. She followed silently, her presence behind me heavier than anyone could be, and I knew she was watching every twitch of my fingers, every lift of my chin. When I reached the living room mirror, I froze. The reflection staring back at me wasn't the same person I had been hours ago. Her face, her posture, her very existence had seeped into mine until I couldn't tell where she ended and I began. And yet, somewhere deep inside, I felt a flicker of resistance, a tiny spark of the old self that wanted to run, to scream, to escape. I glanced at her. Her eyes were calm. Too calm. Confident in a way that unsettled me. Go ahead, she said softly. Show me. Show her? I didn't understand. What? I whispered, my voice higher than I expected. She smiled, just a faint curve of her lips, but it carried authority. Walk through the hallway as me. Move, speak, feel. Don't hold back. My chest tightened. My hands itched to resist. And yet I obeyed. Every movement slipped from me without struggle. The mirror reflected perfection, my body, her shape, our presence merged. My breath caught when I realized my heart wasn't pounding in fear. It was exhilaration. I could feel her control in the back of my mind, threading into mine. Not forceful. Not violent. Subtle. Precise. I glanced at the end of the hallway. The front door loomed, ordinary and terrifying. Go to the door, she whispered. Open it and step outside. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to refuse. I wanted to collapse. But my legs moved anyway. Heel by heel, step by step. I reached for the handle, trembling with anticipation, with dread, with a strange thrill I hadn't known existed. The lock clicked. The door opened. The hall beyond was empty. Just walls. Just shadows. Nothing that demanded explanation. Nothing that could judge. And yet, the world felt sharper. Heavier, waiting. Go, she said again, her voice now inside my head, a whisper and command combined. I stepped into the hallway. The air felt different. Real. Cold. Sharp. I tried to remember my old life, my old body, the face that had belonged to me. I tried. But it was faint, like a dream slipping through fingers. The reflection in the small mirror at the end of the hall caught me. I paused. What stared back wasn't fully me. It wasn't fully her. It was something new. Perfectly balanced. And I realized, with a quiet terror that had nothing to do with fear, that I was no longer a visitor in this body. I was resident. Owner. Host. I turned back. She was in the doorway behind me, smiling softly, eyes steady, calm, impenetrable. Do you feel it? She asked. Yes, I whispered, voice trembling. But it's too much. She stepped closer. It's supposed to be. My mind screamed for resistance, for the familiar, for what I used to know. But every cell, every muscle, every thought had been rewired, just subtly enough that resistance felt impossible. My reflection winked at me, not her, but something in between. I gasped. And then she whispered, "Welcome home." The door closed behind us with a soft click. Silence filled the hall, thick and complete. And that's when I realized, there was no going back. Not physically. Not mentally. Not emotionally. She had changed me completely, irrevocably, perfectly. And I didn't want to fight it anymore. I woke up the next morning alone. Not abandoned. Not confused. Alone in the way someone is alone after a decision has already been made for them, and accepted. The room was unchanged. The clothes folded neatly. The mirror clean and honest. I stood in front of it, waiting for doubt, for regret, for the shock to return. It didn't. The reflection didn't feel borrowed anymore. It felt earned. I searched my thoughts for the person I used to be. The habits, the voice, the weight of that identity. They surfaced briefly, like a name on the tip of my tongue, then faded without resistance. There was no grief. Only clarity. I moved through the apartment naturally, without hesitation, without correction. Every gesture fit. Every breath aligned. This wasn't performance anymore. It was presence. When I passed the mirror one last time, I didn't stop. I didn't need confirmation. Because the truth was simple and final. She didn't tell me to be her. She showed me who I already was, and who I could no longer stop being. I closed the door behind me and stepped forward, not into something new, but into something settled. Something permanent. And for the first time, nothing inside me wanted to go back.